251 subsection 1.
Thank you. That's what we want to hear. Thank you very much. So this is just so for the layman, people like us who don't study law, read law. It's very simple. Anything that is called federal only has right to conduct, to adjudicate on everything federal. Federal High Court, everything federal. But you see, when you look at the state and the state High Court, they are the ones who are to adjudicate on everything that has to do with states. That is why when they have their elections, right? It's, general election is conducted by the INEC. INEC is Independent National Electoral Commission, which is for the entire country. So if INEC conducts an election and you are not satisfied with it, you may go to a tribunal. After that, you go to the Federal High Court or Court of Appeal. Or then you go to the Supreme Court. But when it comes to local government, everything right there will happen within the state high court or maybe the state appeal court. No more, no less. Where the Wiki knows that. But since they can just say court ordered. Nigeria is a lawless place. There are judges of some of these courts in Nigeria. They will know that they have no jurisdiction over anything. But for the case, for the sake of confusion, which Nigeria represents, they will still entertain it. Issue interlocutory injunction, whatever injunction, just to further create havoc and confusion. And that's why they are part of the judicial bandits in Nigeria. They are part of your problems. In fact, people believe that they are actually the bedrock of your problems in that contraption. Where criminal politicians can rush to and get this injunction, that injunction, and stop this or not stop that. You get what I mean? Now let's now go to why the police IG, which actually belongs to the federal government, an agency of government. So when Wiki went to a court in Abuja, the court in Abuja now said the police should not provide security for that local government elections. A court in Nigeria ordered that from Abuja, that police IGO should not be part of that election. And guess what? The police IG also said, we are not going to be part of that election. We are not providing security. He announced it. Then the people went on to go and do their election. It became the most peaceful one, even though it is choreographed. It was choreographed the way it should be. There was no fight. There was no buying of votes. There's nothing. And they announced the results only for the police IG to resurface again. Before that, the police IG wanted to hijack the election materials. So on the day of election, when they have almost concluded their elections, right, police IG showed up and his policemen, they started smashing election materials, ballot papers, ballot boxes. They started burning them. Police who started shooting, disrupting polling units. That's on record. When all of that failed, the moment they actually needed to provide security for the state as their duty, last 3 months, they took over the local government areas in the states, all the local government area. Police, they've been there for the past 3 months. Now, the moment they actually needed to be there most, today, the police announced yesterday that they are withdrawing everybody. This is the part, because like somebody said there, right? The local government is like the grassroots. It is the bedrock or the stronghold of the political godfathers in Nigeria. Once you lose the local government, you are just an Abuja politician, a floating politician. You are nothing. No amount of money you have, you are nothing. So when Fubara went for that, it is like going for the kill. It's like a kill shot. And when Wiki and his gang decided that they will burn down Rivers State today, the police IG knew about that. What did he do? He withdrew all the policemen from the place so that the arson could take place. Here is a report done by one of the reporters of Arise.
Kayode Egbetokum has ordered the immediate withdrawal of all police personnel previously deployed to seal and safeguard the local government secretariats in Rivers State. The IGP has also directed the unsealing of the local government secretariats, which were earlier secured by police personnel. A statement by the spokesperson of the River State Police Command, Grace Iringekoko, notes that decision is in line with the commitment of the Nigeria Police Force to ensure neutrality and the smooth functioning of democracy. It disclosed that the police will only be redeployed to the councils in the event of any crisis or breakdown of law and order, where emergency measures will be swiftly implemented to restore normalcy. Well, we'll now cross live to River State, where Arise correspondent Andy Omano has been on the ground since the proceeding of the election and, of course, is standing by to provide an update on the situation in the state. Good afternoon, Andy. We're all anticipating hearing what the situation is on the ground in Port Harcourt.
Thank you so much for having me once more. The situation on ground here in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, is just like every other local government area. Do remember that the River State does have 23 local government areas, and the chairman having been sworn in yesterday by Governor Sim Fubara. This morning, it was the turn of this sworn-in chairman of local government area to equally swear in their councillors. As I speak with you, I am a stone throw from Obiakbo local government area, where the elected local government chairman, Chijoke Ihunwo, just swore in 17 councillors in the legislative chambers of that local government area. And immediately after that, he did address a press conference that lasted for less than 10 minutes. But as soon as that press conference was done with, what we heard was sporadic shooting around the Obiakpo local government secretariat. And for about 15 minutes, you know what will happen. Heads were let loose and people were running helter-skelter. As I speak, as I do this crossover, there is palpable fear here. People who are around are trying to see how they can exit the place. We got to understand that there are a faction, the gunmen, I should say, belong to a faction that are not in tandem with this new local government chairman who has just been elected and sworn in yesterday, and him subsequently swearing in the 17 councillors. But the good news, I must say, is that these gunmen, men of the Nigeria police, men of the civil defense, local vigilante groups have been able to repel these gunmen, and the situation is still tense. But order has been restored to some level.
Thank you for that update. Now, just before we crossed over to you, we just shared a story about how police have withdrawn from the local government secretariats. Given these developments, are we seeing more police presence, or, what's the status of police presence currently?
Yes, we have a couple of policemen around here, the ones who on the entourage of the executive chairman of
Andy, I hate to interrupt you. Is that man behind you injured? Is that part of the scuffle? There's a man behind you being ushered into a car.
Yes, it has to do with that crisis, really. It has to do with the crisis. Remember, I told you that we just needed to move to a very safe place to be able to do this crossover. We had actually wanted to do this crossover directly in front of Obiakpo local government area. But as I speak with you now, the place is like a war zone. Vehicles trying to exit the local government area, and even human beings also trying to leave. What you saw in my back is one of those who may have sustained one form of injury or the other. The situation, I must report quickly, is that it is tense here, and nobody.
It was an act of terrorism. A pure act of terrorism. So the criminal politicians and their hired thugs, especially with the weakest cultists, they were, they were like waving cutlass, machetes, guns, and all that. Were those, being reported on, right? However, I'm now going to go back to that analysis to make you understand, to have a deeper understanding of why the external influence has always been involved in the River State political crisis, because the structure that Werewike has been bragging about, the one he used in negotiating for whatever it is currently enjoying with Tinubu right now, is what has now been like totally decimated. neutralized. Listen to this. It's not new. It has always been like that since 1999.
Well, the FCT minister is fairly well known, to be one that pursues his interests, no matter the circumstances, and which is his legitimate right. I think going to court is fine. You see, what I believe Nigerians ought to look at, is that it's not really a River State problem. It's not even about the FCT minister, really, because repeatedly we have had these problems in River State. Actually, I would say that in this republic, we have had no peace in River State, from 1999 till date. In fact, even now, we probably fare a bit better than in the past, because we had a lot of prominent people who lost their lives in politics. The rancor in River State, politics has been terrible. We have a situation in River State where national politics has been swayed or considers itself hinged on River State. All of these controversies are not about Rivers people. The peaceful election shows it. The real issue is national struggle for power that dovetails and has effect in River State. So it's not a River State problem. It's not about Rivers people. Rivers people are very peaceful and very civilized. We can conduct elections without police, without soldiers, and people would win and lose. That is the River State that I know. There is nothing in River State that is violent or rancorous. It is outside issues that make River State a pivotal violent spot.
The struggle for control of the state, is that what you're referring to?
No, the
state resources?
The struggle for the state resources to be used for national politics. That's where the problem is.
So it's beyond the FCT minister?
Well, he's part of it, but it's beyond him, yes. That's a fair statement. I would say that every River State election has national ramifications. It was very clear in the last election that if the APC had lost River State, we would have had a different president. That's clear. So it is River State politics being pivotal that is the issue. And then not just Rivers votes, but the resources of River State are used to win other states.
Do you understand that, or you want me to explain? During the Peter Odilize time, he had intention of becoming president as well. He was one of those who wanted to be president, one of the state governors who wanted to be president, that contested in PDP against Yaradua. The Obasanjo told him to step down at the last minute, which actually pitted him against Obasanjo at the time. Then came Rotimi Amici. Now, Rotimi Amici also, right, pitted his tent against that of Goodluck Jonathan. He pitted his tent with that of APC against the interest of Goodluck Jonathan. And guess what? It was because of the resources of that place. Amici went all out that River State became a war ground. You remember the Commissioner Umbu? Don't worry if you don't remember him. Anyway, so it was always like that national, involvement, and the people of River State have not really been that fortunate with those who have been in, at the helm of their state governors. Werewike was using River State money to fund other states, like Father Christmas, because he wanted to be president in PDP. When he got betrayed, he had to force and twist the electoral process in River State towards Tinubu, and because of that, he became he is now a minister under a government of Tinubu. So the resources of the state being used to determine, the electoral outcome of Nigeria is always at play, and that is exactly what Fubara is believed to have taken away from him. And yeah, they are not going to just let go. Unfortunately, they miscalculated. Here is what Ankyo Briggs has to say on this matter.
Perhaps, Mixed Briggs, can you give us an understanding? You are on the ground. What could have led to the escalation that we saw today? Looks like a coordinated attack in all these local government and resistance that we saw against the newly elected and sworn in leaders of the local council.
Yes, good evening. Thank you very much for having me. This is really awful. And we've been crying out since last October, since this political madness started in Rivers State. We've been crying out. Now, the witch cried in the night, the child died in the morning, and we're looking for the cause of the death. No, we know exactly what is going on. The specific local governments that is on fire are the specific local governments that have refused to accept that their tenure has been over for 3 months. The specific local governments are the same local government, the leaders of these local governments are the ones that have called the governor all sorts of names since last year. So for us in Rivers State, as of what happened yesterday, day before yesterday, we had an election. Winners emerged. They were sworn in yesterday. I was in the chambers where they were sworn in. And the governor was very clear that definitely there was going to be something based on the rumors that was going on. Now, we have a police force that for the past three months have had the local government of Rivers State, so 23 of them, under lock and key after the tenure of the local government chairman had expired. Under, he claims, court order. He chooses which court orders that he wants to obey. And this morning, all of them were ordered to leave the local government areas, knowing fully well that there was going to be trouble, leaving the duly elected local government chairman to the dangers that is playing out on our television screens since morning in Rivers State. Anything that goes on in Rivers State will affect the whole of Nigeria economically. Now, we've had that the president has issued a statement. We've been calling on the president for over a year to do something. We heard a few months ago that the president said he doesn't want to be involved in what's going on in Rivers State. Now that this has transpired, local governments are on fire in Rivers State, and the president is now calling on the governor of Rivers State, and I don't know who else that is nameless that the president has refused to name, and he's calling on them to make sure that the state is safe. The police is supposed to keep the state and the property of the state government safe. And now that we are left naked by the whims of the police, we are being called upon to take responsibility for the fire that they have set that is raging in Rivers State. This is dangerous and it's unacceptable to the people of Rivers State. If nobody is going to defend us, we are very likely going to have to be left to defend ourselves.
You get up. And the man in the eye of the storm, Fubara himself, was also with Sheung earlier this evening. And his own statement after all of that was that I have done everything humanly possible for peace. I have tried my best with my Oga. It's still called there with a wiki Oga. I think that's actually going to infuriate with a wiki more. You know, after you don't check out, after they don't force them to submit, submit. It's still a call him Oga. Well, they should tell him not to destroy the state. Because as it stands, he has done everything humanly possible for peace. He has done nothing wrong, but they are just hell-bent in destroying his state. Kubara.
So I'd like to ask you a straight and direct question. If there is one thing that could allow for peace, perhaps a permanent one, and it's for you to give, are you willing to give, Governor Fubara, for the sake of peace?
I can quote names here. I can quote names, but for some reason, let me leave it. There is nothing I've not done on this earth for peace to reign. I can tell you the truth. I can tell you the number of times that I've kneeled down to beg that let's allow this issue to go. But, I feel, like I said, I don't even want them to talk about this thing. I've done everything. And if, even as at today, if there's anything that I can do, or there is any way we can get to a point of making peace, I assure you, I'm willing to do it. Because this is important to me. What is important to me is let River State be normal. With all the problem we're having, the wonderful jobs I'm doing in this state, I'm not seeing because of the crisis. It's only when I come out and tell people that I'm doing this or the other, they say, you mean this is what is going on in the state? Because the whole thing everybody is hearing is one crisis or another. If it's not from some set of members of this, it's some group of people. If not from this group, it's from one arm, one security agency. It's. In fact, let me even tell you, there is a report I just got now that with what is happening, that some persons have already been penciled down for arrest because they are close to me. I might not be surprised by tomorrow when you hear their names have been declared wanted. I can tell you.
Governor Fubara, if I may ask you quickly, how did things degenerate this badly? Because there are those who will say you and the former governor, you were one and the same because you worked together. I mean, what exactly is in the bottom of all of this? What exactly went wrong? Where did things go wrong?
So honestly, I wouldn't want to discuss that here, but we all know the issue. It's very simple. It has to do with the issue of power, control. It's not about that. You can even say it in this case. If election has been held in River State and council chairman have been inaugurated, in a normal situation, do we even need anybody to go and obstruct them from entering the secretariat? Maybe there's somebody somewhere who believes that, no, I still am above and higher than the authority in the states. That's all. It's just issue of power. But I tell you, my brother, I don't intend to discuss it, and I don't want to join issues with that. I want to focus on governance. Manage the situation as much as I can. That is what is important to me.
But politically speaking, Your Excellency, if I may come in quickly, politically, there are those who will say, for the man who brought you into office, that there are understanding and agreement that you have. Why is it difficult for you to keep your own side of the bargain since you assumed office? Because that's the allegation against you, that you are unable to keep your own side of the bargain. Why is that difficult?
I don't think there's any understanding we have not kept. I can say it here. There is no understanding that we have that I've not kept. That is the truth. Like I said, I honestly would not want to discuss those issues. What I'm appealing is everyone should share their sword. Even to the minister, Mayoga, there is no need to destroy the states. You once ruled the states. The state was the envy of every other state. Another person is there now. What you need is to give the support. After 4 years or who knows 8 years, I will also leave. Another person will take over. That should be the spirit. When it comes to election period, you can fight and do whatever. But now it's time for governance. We need all the support. We're here complaining that Nigeria have a problem, reduction in our oil production. We're trying to improve our production stage. And we are here. This is the heart of where the problem is. We have the problem in Emowa. We have the problem in Degema. We're trying to manage it. And we're now adding in-house issues. This is an in-house issue that ought not to be out.
So I'd like to ask you a straight and direct question.
He's a dishonest guy. Don't ever forget, he's also a criminal. So I know if you are from Rivers State and you are jumping up and down because, yes, the weekend has been quenched and all of that, enjoy it, okay? Like, enjoy it. But celebrate it. The truth is that he is also a criminal.